Okay, so I thought for this stream that I would kind of do a little bit of chat over the music. Hopefully my voice is loud enough. Because I wanted to try and do something, and hopefully if I kind of talk through it, maybe some others would benefit from it. And it's just something that I've been doing for my project, and that is so I've been getting to the point of adding interactions with NPCs. So just like, for example, I have this guy here. So what he does, actually I don't want to do that. Let's see, I think there was a way to like show everything around him. What he has like a trigger box around him. So whenever I enter the trigger box, he will like turn around and like focus on the character, on the player, on me as a player. So what I wanted to do is whenever you do that, as you can see, after a little while, it just kind of looks away. So what I wanted to do is whenever you interact with them, um, depending um, on if you have a current mission, you know, like an objective that was given by this character, um, and even if you don't, you know, if he's about to give you an objective, he would, once you interact with him, he would begin chatting with you. And so the thing that I want to do today is kind of just getting him into the state, the animation state of, you know, kind of just waving his arms around and playing some of those talk animations. I found some that seem to be pretty decent on Mixamo, and with that, I've been using a plugin for Unreal called the Mixamo Asset Retargeting, I think is what it is. So what you can do, you can download one of these animations, and you can basically retarget the skeleton to be the, in my case, I'm using the advanced locomotion system. So you can retarget it to that, and then you can retarget the animations as well. So which which is really nice. So for example, I'm going to be able to have, let's see, what would be kind of a generic type of thing that's kind of a little bit too extreme. And he's talking on a cell phone, so I don't have cell phones. But let's take a look at this one and play. Come on. Try a different one. That's interesting. Let's see if we can refresh this. Oh, there it goes. So one of the things that I'm going to do is actually blend this at the spine. So that way, what's going to happen is the bottom section of the body can be still controlled by the ALS system, and with that, the character, you know, you'd be able to send him and move around while he's like doing all the arm waving and talking about stuff. That, you know, just the gestures of it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and start with this one. And what I want to do is get a couple of those in, see if they work, and actually just first of all get one of them in, see how it works, and then what I was thinking of doing. Let me turn that music on. Hopefully that works a little better. So once I get one of them in and get him to trigger the animation when you enter the its, you know, bubble, let's call it that. So when that gets triggered, then we can continue working on that animation state and add some more. So it's kind of like a sequence of these animations. Hopefully they blend well together, and that way, you know, you don't have just this at one hanging his arms out, like, putting them down, raising his arms up again. And so let's go ahead, and I usually download it with the skin. I'm not sure why. It seems to be working for me. So at least that. So let's see. Just gonna go to my downloads, and we have talking. So let's import this animation into. Let's bring up the content browser. I'm just gonna dock it down here. Okay. So I don't really like it like that, but I think it's gonna work. All right. So let's import that animation, and I believe I placed some of these with the advanced locomotion system. So let's see, I have animations, and this one is going to be, I have one for sitting because I've implemented like the character can sit down, and then when you come up to him or you send him someplace, he can get up and walk to that place. Okay, so let's create a new folder here, and we'll call this maybe talking. Sure. Alright, so I'm going to import this thing here from downloads, talking, so imported, and I usually I've left this stuff as default, so just go ahead and import. Okay, so there we have it. There's our animation here. So I'm just going to bring this over. And he's like waving and talking about something. Okay, so in order to, the way I've been doing this with the Mixamo system is I'm just going to retarget Mixamo skeleton assets, and I'm going to target it to the ALS mannequin skeleton because it already comes with quite a bunch of additional items that I've been using for some of my stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. If you use the skeleton, the default Unreal Engine skeleton, you can do that as well. But let's see how this works. Okay, so that's retargeted, and let's do the same for the animation. So this is going to just duplicate it and retarget, and I'm going to choose my ALS mannequin skeleton. One of the things to make sure when you do this is to go into your mannequin skeleton and make sure that the pose is in a pose like this. I think I've had some issues prior to this, so hopefully that works. Alright, so let's do a retarget, and let's see, where did it go? Talking, this is it, I think so. Okay, so here we go. And he's like doing his little wave things around, and just like the Mixamo one, but it's using this mannequin skeleton. So with that, what we could do is when we enter this guy's trigger area, and I can show you how that, I believe, there it is. Okay, so basically what I did for the NPC, I just created a child of the base character, so whenever I add functionality to that, it would carry over to this one. I mean, it could be a good thing. I'm just thinking for some, I mean, this would be kind of like a main interaction character that could be able to do everything that you do. And so I was just thinking that it might be worth it for this guy to have everything that the main character has. So let's go ahead, and what I want to do is I want to go into its animation blueprint as well as into the base character. So let's open that first. So we have ALS base character. So what I want to add to this guy is I'm going to add a quick variable down here to say that it's gone into like like a talking mode or something like that. So whenever I set that for the base character, for the NPC, hopefully it's going to go into that arm waving, and it's going to stick into that until I either exit or something else happens. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I think I need to scroll over to here. So let's see, maybe is interacting. Nah, let's do it is talking. Alright, so we'll keep that as a boolean, and we should be able to use that um, in our NPC, and as well as its own um, um, animation blueprint. Okay, so let's go there, and I believe those are kept in the mannequin directory here. So let's open this up. So you'll see there's quite a few things. I've added a few other uh, functionality to it, and it got a little big. Yes. So what I want to do is I want to do it in a kind of a simpler way. So I'm thinking maybe I can start it off from here. So one thing that I've done for this grenade throwing mechanism is adding a state that takes in the standing, like one of these caches, and then is using that boolean to actually go into the state. So with the ALS, all the booleans that are in the ALS base character are available to you. So for example, what I'm going to try and do is, let's go ahead and I'll add a new state. So I'm going to call this talking, maybe. I think that's okay. So in here, from the entry, what I'm going to grab this. I think we can start off from, let's see. So what I've done here is I have the standing cache, which is, so my standing cache is right before the player can like sit. That's what I call it, just standing. And that's going into another cache, which this could be potentially improved. And then that cache, I'm using it to see if I need to blend with the grenade throwing mechanism. So I'm going to be doing the same with the talking, and eventually, so talking is going to have the standing cache, and I'm going to be feeding the talking into, instead of the standing cache, I'm going to be feeding that in here and here. So let's add that in. So I'm going to start by adding with standing cache. So let's add that in. So I'm going to add a state, and this state is going to be we're just standing, so we know it from before. And for this one, I'm going to be doing standing cache, and I'm just going to be playing this one. Okay, so entry, we go to standing, and so once we're in standing, we want to go into our, waving our arms around and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be dragging one of these off of here and adding a state. So this is going to be actual talking, maybe part 1 if we're going to add more, but we'll keep it just at this one for now. So what triggers the entry into this state? We need to have a transition here. So what the transition is going to be, I'm just going to get the ALS space character, and we're going to get is talking. So if it's talking, then we can enter transition. So that's one of the rules. And in order to go back to it, let's try and add ALS. I think it's going to work either way. Base character and is talking, and then a not. and actually not equal, but it should be just a not Boolean. So not Boolean. So if that's the case, then hopefully it should exit, and it's going to do some saves here and there. Okay, so at this point, hopefully it will so it's standing. It's just going to go into talking part if I set that variable to true. So let's go ahead back to our anim graph, and what I'm going to do, so this is our current state here. So maybe I'll just blend it right here at the end, because so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do another cache here. So let's disconnect this, then cache, and this is going to be the grenade throwing mechanism. Well, grenade, in my case, it's not going to be a grenade, it's just going to be like a rock throwing mechanism to distract NPCs. So grenade throwing, I'll just keep it with the same naming kind of idea. Okay, so that's that. And if nothing happens with the grenade throwing, nothing is going to happen. We're still going to get the previous cache. So in our next case, I'm just going to add talking, and just going to get the grenade throwing cache along with the layer blend per bone, and this is already done on the spine, so I'm just going to go with that as well. So come on, duplicate this. So our base pose is going to be our grenade throwing. So let's get the let's see, grenade, and use cache pose grenade throwing. And there's that, and that will go into our final animation pose. So those couple of things are in place. Let's give this a try as far as adding to our NPC character. So let's just look for him up, and so I have a couple of things here that I've been working with, just the hearing noise, whenever you throw something. But I also have the begin overlap. So what's it's currently doing is just setting a custom render depth to itself, so you kind of understand that you're interacting with that character, and is setting the stance to standing. So if it was sitting, it's going to stand. For example, let's start with that. So I'm just going to put him in a sitting setting state. So I thought I had it here. Let's see, sitting. Let's see. I mean, if some of this stuff might have interacted weirdly with the setting mechanism. Anyways. Alright, so we'll leave him as standing. Let's see if we can trigger those the animations to play if we change the bool when you enter his space. So we already know that that's triggered. So what I'll do is let's go ahead and set his talking to true. So what I'm hoping for is that when you enter the trigger box around him, he's going to turn focus to you, and then he's going to start waving his arms around. So let's see if that works. And that doesn't. So there's an issue with playing that animation by the way it looks. Let's see, I think we have everything compiled here. Oh, Well, I mean, I think what might be missing is actually an actual animation to play. So let's do. Oh, what was the name of it? One of the things that I don't really like is where whenever that plugin is duplicating things, it's placing them in a weird spot. So talkinganim mixamo.com. It's a little confusing with the name. So let's do talking ALS maybe instead of Mixamo. Now it's going to be ALS. So talking one, part one, I guess. So let's use that. And I want to do it here. So talking part one. There it is. Okay. And I'm going to be playing this on a loop for now, and that's by default. So let's see what happens now. Alright, so there we go. Let's enter his bubble. And there he goes. He starts to talk about something, and he's like passionate about it. And let's see if I exit it. Um, he's still talking. But I don't want you to keep on talking. I know you got something to say, but let's see how we end that. So that's playing on a loop, and standing has the standing cache. So if the guy is talking, well, duh. So one thing that I didn't account for is, well, I never set this back to false. So I also have in this spaghetti here, which I apologize for. I also have the on component and overlap. So um, let's set this back to false because I guess we're not interested in what he has to say, so he's just going to shut up and abandon our discussion. So let's see how that goes. Bum, bum, bum. Alright, so this is what's been going on around these parts. So, and I guess he's still talking. Oh, I guess not. Okay, so that's good. It ended actually the animation pretty nicely. Blended it in pretty all right. So, um, and we cleared the focus, so he's not focused on us anymore. Now, if I enter, he's going to turn around, and I guess he's going to keep on talking because that's what he's trying to do. So, one of the things that I wanted to do when this is when you start interacting with them is I wanted for the dialogue to start. So in my game, I have a couple of and let's see if I can do that. Maybe I just need to drag in that surveillance camera. So currently, one of the ways that I've done it for to trigger either interactions with NPCs, let's call it that. It's been through the surveillance camera, which would just detect you as the player, and then it would just trigger this dialogue. So I'm just going to drag one of those in and show you how that works. So let's see. Surveillance BP surveillance camera. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. So what this one would do is what I'm currently using for the dialogue is another package off of the marketplace, which worked really well. And I can't remember. I think it's called like a dialogue system. I've just moved some things around in my project, so I'm not sure if that's still there. Um, I was lucky enough to get it for free with Epic's previous, monthly free items, and it's working out really well for me. Let's see, so dialogue, and I'm actually thinking I think I might be wrong. It's actually was it a plugin? Let's see, management content. Hmm. Yeah, I wanted to show you because it's a really um, good um, thing on the marketplace. So let's see, it's a dialogue plugin. Um, hmm, there's quite a few of them, I guess. This was. Hmm, oh, bummer. It was a uh, really cool dialogue system. Oh, my apologies for that. I couldn't find the exact one. Um, game assets dialogue. Interesting. I'm wondering if it was indeed amongst these items here, like if it came in as a plugin, or I've done it some time ago and I can't remember for the life of me where that thing was. Well, so hopefully you find it. But the way this works is whenever you enter the camera, um, what I'm doing is, and let's just open it real quick. So whenever you enter the camera, um, I am doing a couple of checks in this case, for the quest, just to see if, and this, will come in handy to transition this over to the NPC. If they hand you a quest, it's just a way for me to check if that quest has been completed. Uh, but the basics of it is, let's see, where did I start this off? So whenever it detects you, it creates a demo dialog widget, and adding that to viewport, and then you just go into that dialog. So I want to use this um, once you enter um, the player's trigger area. So I'm just going to copy this from here and with the window as well, and we'll give this a try. So let's copy this and place it on the NPC. All right. So maybe I'll collapse this. I'll just leave it like this for now. There's not a lot of other stuff added on, so I think it should be fine. So whenever you enter uh, um, the NPC, or you come across him and enter its trigger area, I'm gonna go ahead and trigger this demo widget. So in order for me to do that, as you can see in the surveillance camera, I have opened this dialog up so that the game designer, or in this case myself, I can just select it from here depending on which one it is. So I'm going to be doing the same for the NPC. So he's going to have another box here saying, hey, um, let's use this dialog when the player enters the trigger area. So I have the dialog here, and think when I compile, it's going to complain about this one. Oh, I guess it won't. But why isn't it? In case I already have this one as a... Do I have it here already? No, I don't. That's interesting. Why I did not complain about this. So let's go ahead and delete this. And actually, I want to see exactly what type of it is. Oh, I didn't complain because I didn't have these connected. So there it goes. So it doesn't really know what that is. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this and promote this to a variable. And this is going to be my dialog. So dialog, and is of type dialog. So what I want to do next is actually create this this dialog. And I think for now I'm not gonna be going through that, but I am going to use one of the ones that I've created already. So let's try and see if that works out. And also, one of the things that I'm missing out of here is what happens when this thing ends. And let's see. Da, 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 Oh, hey, side break. Hopefully I said that right. How are you doing? Alright, so let's give this a try and see how this works. So first of all, let's see if I can find that dialog amongst all these ALS items here. So let's see, dialog, oh no, not in the components, but in the details. Huh, that is weird. Hey, yeah, I mean, send it over and I can play it after the stream. So, for sure. Okay. So why? Oh, let's actually make this available. Cool. Yeah, thank you. I'll try that. I'll give that a shot. Okay, so there's that. Let's see if this guy has that dialogue available. There it is. All right, so let's see. I'm just going to use this level v3 dialog. I think this is going to be pretty simple. So let's go ahead and save this and jump into game. And let's see, when I... Okay, yeah, okay, sure, thank you. What's up? And then this should be able to start clicking on these and go about your business. But I'm not sure why that one didn't really react as expected. Huh. So let's test that on the surveillance camera. Let's see if that's the same. So that one's already there. Let's play this one. So let's go into... that one doesn't really want to play that well either. I guess I need to be doing some digging into Oh, this is, I think it's part of my issue with having a quest in here. So um, I was telling you earlier that I was working on setting up the quest system, and I've actually filled it in with one item. So let me try and remove this one here because um, I think it's relying on that. So I'm just going to delete that because it looks at your so each one of those. And so in my case would be the surveillance camera. You know, you can give it a quest that it's in charge of, you know, kind of in charge of keeping up with. So um, in my case is going to be this find key. So whenever you enter the dialogue first, it's going to, let's see, I guess it doesn't. So I have nothing in the quests. But now I should have just started the discussion like this guy's doing. But it's not switching between. Let me try the other dialogue that I have. So let's see if this has any. Okay, so it plays the first state, but afterwards it just doesn't allow me to click on the other items. So that'll be something that I'm gonna figure out separately. But as far as this guy going into its, you know, chatting and then going out of it once I get away from him, that seems to be working pretty well. So one of the other things that I wanted to do is import a second one, so and see how it transitions between the two. So I think maybe this guy here, if Mixamo will cooperate. So let's see. Alright, so that's a pretty decent one. It's not very, um, you know, exuberant, or it's not really doing, um, and of course they had to name it Talking and Talking 1. So I guess that will work. So I'll just name these before importing part 2. And I'm also going to get, let's see which one. That one is kind of sassier. I'm not sure I like it very much. But this one seems kind of interesting. And it's using a little bit of, you know, kind of a more, um, you know, strong type of trying to explain stuff to you. So let's use this one as well. And so this is going to be like part 3. So talking, part 3. And I'm going to try and figure out which one I wanted to keep at the end. I mean, this is also going to be related to maybe how long I want it to go on, depending on uh, what I'm assigning to him as far as missions. So if he's got like a long, really long chat, maybe it's just worth playing these and then going into like a idle state where he just sits around while it talks. So that could be also something to try. So let's import those other 2 animations, and I was really hoping to be able to show you the chat, but I'm not entirely sure what's going on. So I have to like do a little bit of digging into that. Okay, so let's go to, I believe, blueprints, no blueprints, or characters, animations, and then talking. So talking, and I'm gonna have to be, I'm gonna do some cleaning in here because This is just all the Mixamo stuff, so maybe I should just create a folder with Mixamo and bring these guys into here. Because one of the things also that I've noticed is um, importing stuff from Mixamo when you already have the skeleton. Either I wasn't able to figure it out, or I wasn't sure what was going on, but it kept trying to even it was referring to the skeleton as it could use it, but then it just wasn't able to import it. So I just imported the things again. So in the end, this is just kind of a step because you'll just be um, um, retargeting these to the ALS skeleton. So um, let's import this stuff. Yeah, the Mixamo retargeting it actually works out really nice. I'm really happy with it. So let's go ahead and retarget this one to the ALS, just like before. And then, so we have talking part 3 and then talking part 2. So retarget animate assets and duplicate that. I'm going to go with the ALS mannequin skeleton, retarget. And there they go. They got placed in with lumped in with everything else. So yeah, there's some cleanup that I need to do around here. Okay, so let's go back into our animations, talking, and I believe the one that I just did was number 2 or number 3. Okay, so let's do number 2. Let's rename this first since we're here. So it's going to be talking part 3 and anim, so we know it's an animation, and then this is going to be for the ALS. Alright, so let's import part 2. So let's go back to talking, and actually not import it, but do the retargeting. So, and then we have it right there, retarget this, duplicate and retarget, and then this one it is, and retarget. So there you go, we have it here as well. So let's just give it a good name, so part 2 anim, and then ALS. Okay. Alright. So let's go into our anim blueprint, and we already have this stuff going on. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and add another state. But what I want to do is maybe this one, I'm just going to make it so it's not looping. So just place through it once. And then next one, just going to add another state. And this is going to be talking part 2. Oh, come on. So talking part 2. Alright, so we can go into this one if this one has completed. So let's go ahead and in here we're just going to get time remaining, I believe it was. Talking part 1. And yeah, let's actually make it so that if this one is less than or equal to maybe 0.2 or something, then we can enter transition. So then it's going into talking part 2, and and then this one, let's add the animation to it. So talking part 2, there it goes. And again, we'll set this to not be looping, and then we'll just set the last one to loop. So then we get into talking, and then add a new state, and this is going to be talking part 3. So talking part 3 could end back to standing. So let's do that. We'll just link to here. And also talking, you can go into standing from talking part 2. And in here we'll just copy this stuff. So if it's not talking, then we can enter transition. And the same goes for this one. Can enter transition. Okay. And let's see, I think it's complaining about one of these guys not having anything in it. So this one is going to get remaining from talking part 2. And I'm just going to be setting it to less than or equal to 0.2 or something like that. I think that should work for now. So let's compile this. I guess there's no issues. So let's go ahead and we have a transition there, one there, between these guys, one here, and one here. So hopefully now it's going to go through these. And in talking part 3, actually I need to put the animation in here, so talking part 3. And for this one, I'm going to keep this one on a loop. Okay, so let's give this a try and see how these animation kind of, hopefully they're not going to be too jumpy. So, yeah, there he goes, and let's see. He's like going to animation, second animation, and then this is the third, where he's like pissed off, and there it goes. The third one didn't really act as well as I was hoping, and it is looping. So let's see how does this one look. So he's waving his arms, and let's see if for now I'm going to be disconnecting this create demo widget to see if they play correctly. I'm wondering if that kind of interferes with it. Yeah, of course. Of course. Huh. That is interesting. It's it kept on playing that one, so it's not taking into account me exiting from it. Let's see, I think I've used a better transition than one of the other ones, or at least there's a better transition being used. So time remaining ratio, nearly equal float. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if this is necessarily going to work, but maybe it's worth trying in my transitions for those. So let's go back into our anim graph, and so we have talking here and this one. Let's try like that. Alright, so that's talking, and then talking part 3. Oh, actually, I was using something else for that one. Oops, not that, sorry. And it should be down here, time remaining ratio. So let's try doing that with the time remaining ratio. ratio, and then near equal float, and yeah, let's try that. So we have time remaining ratio and this one here. Remaining ratio and there. So let's compile that. So talking, is not talking, is not talking, and that's not talking. So that should exit fine out of those. Not sure why it doesn't show it when you hover over this middle one. Let's make sure this one's not set to loop, and this one's not set to loop. So that's looking pretty decent for now. Let's see if there's any improvement. But overall, this is what I was trying to accomplish today. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the results. There's definitely some more refining needed to be done, but so there it goes. He's talking about things, and there's part 2. Looks like it goes into part 3, but then it just exits out of it. If it doesn't continue to play that. And let me just delete the camera because it's kind of bugging me a little bit. Alright, so that's deleted, and there's part 2 there, and it kind of like just skips through part 3 for whatever reason. Let's try something real quick. I'm wondering if I just remove part 3 for now. And kind of keep part 2 on a loop. So then part 2 should exit if so there's part 1, then it goes into part 2, and then, well, actually it looks like part 3 is playing fully now. I'm wondering if I kind of flip the animation around. Part 2, it's part 2. Which is just that one. So, oh, because it's still going into this one. Interesting. I don't know why I can't delete this. There, let's try that. So the issue seems like it was when this one is trying to exit back to standing. So there's part 1 and part 2. Let's see if that repeats itself. Yep, there it goes. And it still tries to hinge something, but just once. And afterwards, oh, I think I might know what might be going on here. I think I've set a timer. Yeah, there it goes. So I'll actually set a timer for this to clear the focus, but that should only happen on the end overlap. and not in any other case. So that's interesting. Hmm. Doo, doo, doo. And that's what's weird, because I do not, this one doesn't get triggered. Let's see if I place a quick breakpoint on that and see if it just gets triggered. Maybe this box around him is too big or too small. I think that might be the case. Let's try this and see if I make this a little bigger. Kind of like that. Let's see if that still causes an issue. And of course, trigger is happening every time now. So he's much more responsive since the box is a little bigger. Let's see, does it keep on playing? Only for a couple of times, so why would that be the case? Okay, that's better. So yeah, I think it was something related to that trigger box, that it was a little smaller, so oh great, so that second animation keeps on playing, even though it's kind of awkward, but now we have something, so hopefully now if I like step away from him, he's going to play that one last time, and didn't really register that end overlap, which is weird. But overall, this is what I was trying to do today. Hey, what's up, Napdown Hero? I like Napdown too, so I'm no hero there, but I try my best. So welcome. Sorry that you kind of joined us a little bit at the end of the stream. Um, it was a little bit of fun, you know, doing some. Yeah, I mean you can watch it. I think maybe about a minute after I end the stream, there's going to be like a little. I think the video gets saved to Twitch. It wasn't a whole lot. There was just a little bit of work on getting the character that you interact with to actually behave a little different when you get up close to him, like going into another state of, you know, waving its arms around if he has kind of something to talk to you about. So it's not just, you know, kind of sitting there and, you know, staring at you, just, you know, blank staring his eyes. But yeah, that was about it for what I wanted to do today. So, anyways, thank you so much for poking around. Maybe we'll see you in a later stream. So it's a lot of it. It's just kind of I don't really play video games during the stream. I just try to work on this video game of mine. So that's pretty much what I stream. But yeah, so with that said, y'all have a good rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, take care, everyone.